Hello everyone, this is 8376 and welcome back to my little world. So I'm just playing today, just playing on my own, and I decided to start recording. I've been planning on recording a second episode of my world for a few days now, and I realized, why wait when I can just start now? Since I last showed my world, a few things have changed. One, I have removed the ender portal from the cliff over there and removed the staircase leading to it. Instead, building that large wizard tower. So let's go quickly visit it. So before, the ender portal was in that little area over there with a staircase similar to this one leading up. But I didn't like the way it looked. I think it looked out of place, so I decided to get rid of it. And instead, I will show you what exists in its place. So to get to the wizard tower, I have added this nice path. I decided to use slabs because I like the more gradual ascent. I originally intended to use stairs, but there's like a, I think there's like a more, I don't know how to describe it. There's like a nicer vibe to a more gradual incline. You know, it feels a little more natural, as if there's a path here rather than just a artificial staircase. So this is what the wizard tower looks like from a sort of close-up low angle, or you can hear the nether portal in there. This is what it looks like from a side view. I decided to use what's it called, soul sand for the roof because I thought it gave it a, I don't know, like an interesting texture. I think it's a pretty unusual block, and I had a bunch saved up from another trip, so decided to put it together, and it actually turned out pretty okay. It looks like a sort of like an older, like a darker kind of roof tile. On the inside, there is no door yet. I finished this yesterday, and I forgot to add that. On the first floor, all we have so far is the nether portal, and on the second floor, all we have is a second floor. I haven't added any furniture or anything yet. I plan to add bookshelves and tables and other wizardly things soonish. But for now, I'm just gathering the paper because I don't have enough paper to make all the bookshelves. But yeah, I quite like the way that the roof sort of ascends into a dark void. I think that's very fitting for a wizard to have just a void above him. I think it's very, very esoteric. And yeah, also as you can see, I added lapis in the corners because, I don't know, looks nice. A bit of an homage to more modern versions of Minecraft where lapis is associated with magic. I'm pretty sure in the last video, those three houses were not there. So I talked about expanding the little village so that there's more houses here and it feels a little more lived in. And yeah, I did that. I extended the path, made it go into that little section past the dune that I mentioned before, and added 3 buildings. So hopefully this feels a little bit more lived in. I'll go up to them now and show what they look like inside. Yeah, I don't think I'll add any more houses because I think, 5 is enough for now. It's like in most video games, there's less houses than there would be in real life. It's kind of how in Skyrim, the major, like, ancient city of Whiterun only has, like, 20 buildings in it, even though in real life a city of that size should be, sprawling and huge. Same sort of idea here. There's only 5 buildings in the Minecraft build, but if this little village were to exist in reality, there would be, like, a good 50 buildings, if that makes sense. And on the inside, they all look, standard stuff. They've got a furnace, a crafting table, bed, table, and bookshelves. And upstairs in the storage room, there is nothing. And it's the same exact idea with every building. Furnace, crafting table, bookshelves, bed, table, nothing up there. And just to prove that I am telling the truth, same here. Boom, 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 and boom. Yeah. So that's the new houses I added to the village. I also added flowers to the path because I think that looks nice. Now, I know I showed this in the previous video, but I have also finished building the little mining house. I added more detailing to its interior, and I'm about to show you. I also added a fireplace right here, just like that. I mentioned that the back looked sort of plain, just being just like a flat wall, and I think that the added chimney extending from it actually looks pretty nice. It gives the back a bit of personality that the building previously didn't have. And when we looked at the interior, you might also notice that the floor goes down before going up. And there's a good reason for that I'll explain in a minute, but first I'll have a little tour of the interior. So here we've got some paintings, got beds for each of like the mining workers with little chests next to their beds. And up here, there's like a little office. I imagine all of these bookshelves hold like ledgers and stuff of all their mining trips. So each of these books contains like what materials they gathered, who was there on work, who came late, stuff like that. And they update their ledgers daily, or whenever they come back from a mining trip up here. And this is all like well organized and stuff like that. Yeah, the view from the beds it's pretty decent. You get the rest of the village. Now, as for the first floor, I imagine the miners who live here aren't very neat folk. So on the bottom here, they just have a bunch of crates. Like this is just a bunch of random stuff that they have gathered over their years working for this mine, and it's just all lying here in a huge pile. The actual chests themselves are empty. However, this is meant to sort of kind of it's meant as decoration, if that makes sense. These are decorative chests, and I think it looks pretty cool. I think there's some environmental storytelling. You go into this house and you kind of get a feel for how these miners live. Let's just have a little bit of a snooze before we continue. Now, as for the fireplace, you can see that it uses glowstone and signs that just say fire. The reason for that is that originally I did actually place netherrack and fire here, and originally this whole floor was one block taller, so instead of dipping down, it just kind of went forward and continued. And the chimney was originally here. Not the chimney, the fireplace was originally here. And I added actual fire. And when I did that, despite there being an entire like layer of bricks between the fire and the floor above, this section caught fire, and I burnt off like a good 1/5 of the roof. It was very frantic. I'm glad that I was here when the fire happened, because I managed to put it out and fix it. And so after that, I decided, okay, well, maybe if I just place the whole floor down and put the fireplace also one block lower, maybe that'll fix it. I added fire here, and it was this level, and it didn't fix it. The top caught fire again. So then I lowered it even more. Instead of having the fire burning here, it was burning a block beneath here, and the top floor caught fire eventually again. So after a while, I just gave up, and instead I decided to do this. You're just sort of meant to pretend there's a fire here, because for some reason, all of this space does nothing when it comes to preventing the top floor from catching fire, which is very unfortunate, but oh well. It looks kind of funny, so I'm sort of okay with it. Nothing new was added to the mining, to the actual mine itself, so we can leave that alone. This does look pretty ominous, though. Like this view of the wizard tower on the cliff. I think it looks pretty cool, but it is like very, very large. It's like almost from top to bottom. It's the wizard tower itself is almost the length of the entire mountain, which is, a very strange effect. It's also a little bit stocky, in my opinion. I kind of, built the base very, very wide. So as a result, it looks kind of like almost like one of those mushroom houses that the Smurfs live in, if you've ever watched the Smurfs. But yeah, it still looks cool. I still think it looks like a tower, despite being so, like despite being such a fat tower, I guess. That is basically all that I have added to the world since the previous video. However, that is not everything I have to update you guys on. And that is this area over here. So this used to be just a forested hill. I cleared out the forest and making it nice and plain. And currently, I am shearing the sheep because I want to have as much wool as I can. Currently, I am expanding the hill, so making it nice and flat and also nice and large. And my plan is to put a manor here, so like a nice, maybe 2-3 story tall house that looks all fancy and rich. And the idea will be that this manor is where the lord of the village lives. So whoever's in charge of this whole place, whoever owns the land and employs the villagers living here, this will be their house. It'll be situated on this hill, and instead of having a path go down there and then sort of rise up to the village, I actually want to build like a bridge. So I want to build like some kind of a tall structure kind of going over the lake and connecting to that hill over there. I think that will look pretty cool. And it also, I don't know, add a little bit of grandiosity to the whole manor. Kind of give the impression that whoever lives here thinks themselves too high and mighty to step into the ground down there. So much that they need a bridge over the land to connect them to the village they own. Anyway. So right now, as you can see, this is what the hill used to look like. I'm currently filling it in with dirt. And I'm actually filling in the entire thing. So I'm not just adding like a thin layer of dirt above. No, I'm filling up the whole thing so it's not hollow. The reason for that is, one, it's sort of habit for me. I kind of have a history of doing this with my builds. I remember on a server, a modern server, actually the modern server that I talked about in my last video where I play with my friends. I built a floating island, again with a wizard tower on top of it, and the entire floating island was like maybe the size of a chunk, maybe a little bit larger, and I filled the entire thing with smooth stone, not smooth stone. I filled the entire thing with stone. So despite it taking like maybe an entire chest, maybe 2 double chests worth of stone, I filled in the entire thing because I didn't like the idea of it being hollow. It just feels wrong. It doesn't feel as authentic. I'm not comfortable with the idea of looking at that hill and knowing that it's just kind of like a Kinder egg. You know, if you've ever eaten a Kinder egg, you know that, on the outside it just looks like a chocolate egg, but then you bite into it and you realize it's just like a hollow shell. I don't like the idea. I don't like Kinder egg builds. I like my builds to have substance. I like them to be full. I also don't mind it because I have all of this dirt that I want to get rid of. So, yeah. I'm sort of situated in a very uneven spawn area. Like this whole area is very hilly. It has a lot of, rises and falls and stuff like that. I like the region, but it does take a lot of terraforming to look nice. So as a result, I've had to dig a lot of dirt, and I would like to get rid of that dirt. So I'm going to get rid of it by filling in the entire hill. I wonder what blocks I should use when building the manor. I still don't have a design in mind. I might look at some images on Google of like noble manor houses from, I don't know, maybe the 18th century. Something European. Some kind of provincial manor house. That's kind of the idea that I have in mind. I could build like a keep of some kind, like a little fortress, but I don't know if that's... I don't know, it feels a little too generic, you know? Because like I've already got a wizard's tower, you know, adding a castle would just be like cliche. I probably will eventually build a castle somewhere on this world, but not anytime soon. I don't have the resources for that yet. Yeah, the reason I'm extending the hill so far, making it so large, is I don't actually plan on having the entire manor house take up this whole place. I think maybe from here to here will be the manor house, so like from that area down to here, down like that. And then the rest of the hill will be like a garden or a grove of some kind. You know, something really nice and what's the word? Nice and cultivated. I'll probably use birch trees in the garden slash grove that the manor house has, because while I don't like the way birch wood itself looks in builds, I think birch trees on their own look really nice. Out there I actually have a little bit of a birch path. I just realized, with that large oak tree, if I have this like manor house, the entire area will have the vibe of like a British countryside. Because I know in the UK, a very iconic part of the countryside is like the lone oak tree in the middle of the fields. I've heard that that's like a very common thing in the British Isles. So, you know, I don't know, maybe this area will end up having like a British countryside vibe, because we all know that another iconic part of the British countryside is the ominous wizard tower looming over the cliffs with a portal to hell in it. That's a very common British sight, I hear. I hear the Queen of England, before she died, like to converse with wizards pretty often. And we all know that King Charles is actually just like an undead lich. So yeah, there's definitely some necromancy happening in the British royal family, I reckon. Kind of, I don't know how easily I can make this look natural. I hope to use as much dirt as I can, because I do want to get rid of it. I will say that due to Minecraft Beta's more chaotic world generation, making something look natural is a lot easier. You know, there's more inconsistencies in the world generation as it is now, so when you see inconsistencies in your own build, it actually ends up looking more natural than you'd expect. So that definitely makes my job a little easier, if only marginally. Okay. It's hard to tell how natural this will look until the grass grows, but for now I think this actually looks pretty okay. It's a little bit more, I guess, square-shaped than usual. I guess if we look at this side of the hill, it's all naturally spawned. It's oh, actually no. This is already a pretty steep incline as it is, so having something like this, yeah, once the grass grows, I reckon this will actually look pretty okay. So, oh, that was definitely easier than in modern Minecraft, I reckon. The world generation is so much more uniform and like smooth in modern Minecraft that if I were to try and terraform something, it would inevitably look a little bit wonky. So that's good at least. Oh, I might have to get rid of this tree. God damn it. I hate these large oaks. They're the worst. But at the very least, I'm not exactly opposed to the idea of these extremely large oaks existing. I just wish that they weren't random. Like, I wish there was like a... Instead of having them randomly spawn, I wish there was a way to make saplings grow into this kind of oak by your own choice. because that way you get the best of both worlds. You don't have these annoying oaks growing when all you're trying to do is cut some trees, but on the other hand, you still, get to grow these oaks if you want to use them for a build or something. But as it stands now, you get neither option. You either have to mine a really annoying oak tree, or you have to try over and over and over again until you get the right oak tree if you want to ever grow something this large for like a build. The super large oaks are a little bit better in modern Minecraft. They're a little smaller, which makes them easier to mine. Still annoying though. They've always been annoying. And today when I was clearing out this area, there are actually so many of these large oak trees that I even considered grabbing a flint and steel and just burning the forest away. But I decided that would be a waste of resources. This looks too square. Too square. Oh, anyone know that game? Any Australians watching this know about 2 Square? Or 4 Square, or Handball. Depending on where you grew up, I guess. Different names. Anyway, this place does look too square. So, I'm gonna have to change its shape a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That doesn't look too bad. Right. Once the grass grows, I reckon this hill will be looking as natural as if God himself created it. This part is actually naturally formed, believe it or not. I don't know why I was worried about it looking square, considering... Look at this part, it's just a... It's just like a literal square here. Or down here. Yeah, no. God, maybe my part is actually too smooth. Maybe I tried too hard. Who knows. It looks good. I reckon we should start work on the manor house. So, I definitely think that the entrance should be around here. Maybe put like a nice veranda here. With a nice, sort of roof. And then the main corridor will extend down here. I'll probably go off into a couple of rooms. Like a bedroom here, I don't know, kitchen here, something like that. And then kind of extend down to here, maybe. And then over here, it'll open up into a grove, or a garden, or a mix of both, that will extend this entire hill. I'm kind of hoping to use the wool in the manor house itself. I've used snow for the wizard tower and the mining house, just to make that like whitewashed wall effect. But I think wool might work a little better. I kind of like its texture a little bit more. Although I guess it will add a little bit of inconsistency to the whole world. So I don't know. So I definitely don't think I will start on the manor in this video, because it's getting pretty late and I need to go to sleep soon. But I do have a question before the video ends. I plan on having the manor having like whitewashed walls similar to the mining house. So I think this kind of design with the wooden logs and the white materials in between them. And I used snow for these builds because I was short on wool. But originally my idea was to use wool. I don't think I'll change this build because I like the way it looks. However, I do wonder which of these two I should use when making the manor. Should I use the wool for the whitewash walls, or should I continue using snow? I think, on one hand, using wool will help differentiate the manor from the rest of the buildings, but on the other hand, I fear it might add a bit of inconsistency to how things are built here. So I'm not sure. I also used snow for the whitewash walls on the wizard tower, so far there is no wool being used for whitewashed walls. However, I do want to start using it, but I'm not sure if I should. If you're watching this video and you have a little bit of input, I guess, post your opinion in the comments. I'll be happy to read them and take people's suggestions. Yeah, that basically sums everything up for the world update. Hope everyone watching has a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see everyone soon.